Hey guys, thank you for watching. This is Breaking Burke. It is my YouTube channel about houseplants and gardening here in the desert of Albuquerque, New Mexico. In today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. I don't know if you see this post in front of us. I'm sure you do now. There's one over, I don't know, in the distance, about 150 feet that way. And then if you look even further in the distance, I don't even know if you can see it on camera. I'll walk towards it and I'll tell you a little bit of a story. So, a few years ago, my family, I lived with my parents at the time. I live in a little casita behind them now. I pitched in and helped them buy their house because it was a family house. It was supposed to be given to us. My parents were actually the youngest in both of their households, and when they moved out, their mothers were both in their 40s, maybe 50s, and single women, and had health issues. So their siblings, you know, as siblings do, pointed out that my parents didn't have much in life because they had just gotten together, and they had started to buy a mobile home. But, you know, my grandma was in failing health, and my dad's older siblings came to him and said, you know, Mom's not doing that great. You don't have much to have to take care of. Do you think you can move back and take care of Mom? So he did, and we lived there. I grew up in my grandma's house for, I think it was 20-some years, 22 years, something like that. And then my grandma passed. They said they were going to give us the house for taking care of her, but of course, you know, since they were older, they thought my dad didn't know what he was doing or couldn't pay mortgage or utilities. Here's my other pole. This is the corner pole. But back to the story. Yeah, they basically thought my dad was a loser, and he obviously isn't. He's got 3 kids who love him dearly and are a very strong family. We get through anything that comes towards us. It's not always easy, but you know, we make it happen. And like a lot of families today, my brother still lives with my parents. He's got his family. They live there, and my uncle actually stays there too. He lost a limb and he used to live with my grandma, but when she passed, he stayed in the house for a few years and couldn't really manage on his own. So he did move with different family members, ended up back at our house. And that's actually how I'm able to make videos. I'm his part-time caregiver, so when I'm not helping him with whatever it is he needs, I have free time and I make videos. But yeah, we were in jeopardy of being kicked out. We actually got an eviction letter, and I said, not my family. Let me remind you, it was my family that was doing this to us. My dad's extended family, his brothers and sisters and their wives and husbands, even though they like to say they weren't part of it. Their signatures were on there and they lied on some paperwork too. But yeah, this isn't what it's about. I just wanted to show you, I didn't want my family broken up, and it was a really hard time for us. I did everything I could to make sure we could stay together, and as a safety net, I invested. I bought an acre of property. Yes, it's out in the boonies. It's, I'd say, about 35 minutes from my house to get here. 45 if there's traffic. But that's door to door. It is an acre of vacant property. It goes 150 feet by 300 feet roughly. And absolutely nothing out here. You can see now it is nice and green and lush. There are fires that come through here occasionally and clean it up as well. There's pronghorn antelope that come through here, coyotes, jackrabbits, tons of wildlife, a whole bunch of chamisa and weeds. There's sunflowers occasionally, you see thistle. Of course there's tons of lizards and horny toads and all that good stuff. But yeah, The reason I bought out here, A, it was cheap. B, I did a little research. You can actually live out here for 6 months in a RV, camping, or whatever you want to call it. You can leave for a month or whatever and come back and start another 6-month stint here. So I figured, worst case scenario, with, you know, the adults that lived in the household that we did live together, if we banded together, we could definitely build a house if we had to. And I mean, luckily, it didn't go that far. What my extended family was doing to us was wrong, and the court's seen it that way. So I mean, they did so many corrupt things and underhanded and trying to basically, you know, steal my dad's inheritance away, that the judge seen right through them. And we actually had a pro bono attorney because, like I say, my dad, before this, I took care of my dad, my sister, and my grandma at one point because life was just headed south. It wasn't in a good spot at all. And, you know, you do what you have to. I do pay for it to this day because, you know, I've never had full-time employment. It's always been temporary jobs, and really that's the only people who consider me as something for a temporary job. But I got multiple years extra with my grandma in good health at home where she loved to be with her family. Of course, she would have loved to have had the rest of her family around, but, you know, you get what you can and you make the best of it. Yeah, this is my first property. I do have another one now. Me and my partner actually are buying just, I'd say, maybe 6 miles down the road, closer to the highway. Another acre each next to each other. And then again in the city of Moriarty, which is just the city just outside of McIntosh, we're looking at, well, in the process of buying some property there. It's 12 city lots. Technically you could put 6 houses. You need 2 lots to make a buildable housing structure out here in Moriarty, in the area where I bought those anyway. And yeah, this is the future for me. Hopefully we can start to get some videos, not anytime soon, but a year or two maybe, get some videos of improving it out here and what you need to do when you do buy a vacant property. I tried to show you the 4 corners of the property. There are posts in each of them. And when you do buy vacant property, most of the time you can walk the property line and find the poles. Anytime something is sold, it has to be, well, as far as vacant property, it has to be surveyed before they can get a deed for it. So part of surveying is putting a semi-apartment in. Identifier, which in this case were like railroad spikes. And we came out here, we looked, we found them, and we replaced them with the T-posts because they're a lot easier to see. Now, this is out in the country living in its best. You wouldn't have any noise except for the one you create. There are a couple neighbors, however, they are about, I'd say, quarter mile to half mile away each. And yeah, someday. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, I plan on making another video on how I actually purchased this property. Now, vacant land isn't the same as buying a house or something. There are other steps and stuff you have to go through, and you always want to make sure you cover yourself. But thank you for watching, and have a great day.